You know, my family and I spend a lot of time out here in the backyard. Kids are always chasing each other through here. This is a really high traffic area, and as a result of that, my grass is really getting beaten down through here. Not only does it look bad, when it rains, this area pretty much turns into a muddy mess, and then my house turns into a disaster. To solve that problem though, today I'm going to be installing a sidewalk through here. And you know, it's really not that hard. Before you begin your sidewalk, you need a reference point. Now I'm placing this stake right here by the patio as my reference point because I want the sidewalk to come up and join the patio. Everything that I do from now on will be measured from this point, so I need to make sure that the stake is flush with the patio. Okay, I've got my reference point in place. Now all I need to do is place this stake right here. Then I'm going to use this line level to make sure that I don't have any water problems. I've put this screw in the top of the stake so that I can attach the line level here and take it down to the other point. Okay, now I need to attach my level to this stake and tie it off. You want to make sure that you give it a good tight pull before you actually tie it. Now what I'm doing here is I'm making sure that my sidewalk is going to slope away from the patio. You don't want any water to backwash onto your patio and possibly cause foundation problems. Let's check the level. Okay, now that looks good. I've got a good 1/2 inch slope going away from the patio, and that's what I want. Okay, what we need to do now is measure the width of our sidewalk. I want mine to be 30 inches. And then I'll be placing a stake about every 3 feet down to the end. But first, let me show you this. We have a sprinkler system, and since we're going to be working with concrete and walking through here a lot, I sure don't want to take a chance of messing up my sprinkler system. So what I've done is taken some cans and cut them in half, and all I need to do is put them over my sprinkler heads, and then they're safe. Okay, what you'll need to do now is mark your stake so that you know how far down to dig to lay your form before you pour your concrete. I'm using the level. You want to pay attention to your string. Make sure that you don't let the level rest on the string and push it down, because if you do, that throws the angle of your sidewalk off. So I'm just barely going to rest it on top, and I'm actually putting pressure of the level against the backboard. That's helping me to hold the level in place. Pay attention to your bubble. You don't want this to be perfectly centered because, again, you need your water to run away from the house. So make sure the bubble is slightly off, about right there, and then make your mark. It's a good idea to wear a back support when you know you'll be lifting heavy materials. You can find this anywhere. They have them at drugstores or any of the local home centers, and they do make them for men or women. This way I can tell I've got good support in my lower back and I won't be injuring myself. Now let's dig. Now what I have here is an electric jackhammer. It comes with several different attachments. I've put the shovel attachment on there, and I've got an electric shovel. Now I've just finished digging out my first segment, and if you'll notice, I've already put in an expansion board there in the back that's level with my string. What I want to do now is go back with my level and make sure that my form is where it needs to be. Remember again, you need that slight slope in the sidewalk so that the water runs away from the house. So I'm going to get that right where it needs to be. Mark the stake. Now all I need to do is attach the form to the stake. Okay, before I pour the concrete, I want to put this stake right here to give my form extra support so that the weight of the concrete doesn't bow out my form and give me an uneven edge. Expansion joints are great because they allow your concrete to either expand or contract during different types of weather. But another good thing about them is it gives you a stopping point in case you're not able to finish the job all in one day. You can either come back to it today, tomorrow, next week, and you'll be fine. What I need to do is just add a couple of more stakes to reinforce this, and then I'll be able to mix my concrete. Now the product I'm using today is from Quikrete. It's a fairly new product, but what I like about this concrete is it has special reinforcing fibers in it, which simply means all I need to do is mix it up with water and pour it right in over my dirt. I don't have to go to the extra expense of laying down a metal rebar, and it saves me time, which I like. But once it dries, I know that it's as strong as if I did have the metal rebar, and it will last me a long time. Okay, I've got this mixed up good. Now I'm ready to pour it. What I'm doing here is I'm using a 2x4 to work the concrete down. This will eliminate any bubbles or stones that may be on the top. All you need to do is place the 2x4 on top of the forms and then just slowly work it back and forth all the way to the end. What I'm doing now is using this tool to give my sidewalk a nice corner finish. Also what it's doing, it's separating the sidewalk from the forms so that after it's dried and I remove the form, I don't have any damage to my sidewalk. Now I'm almost finished. My last step is using the trowel to smooth the finish of the concrete. But you know, sometimes it can be difficult to get a really smooth finish using the trowel. And besides all that, if it is really smooth, when it rains, it can be slippery. So to offset that problem, I'm going to broom it. See what I meant by brooming? What I've done is gently rake the broom over the wet concrete. This is giving it just enough of a texture so that it won't ever be slippery. As soon as I'm finished, all I have to do is let it dry. Since my sidewalk is about 30 feet long, this was a big project. So it took me just a couple of days to finish digging out the area and pouring the concrete. Then I let it cure for a week so it'd be nice and hard. Now the last thing that I need to do is take out these forms. Luckily that's the easy part. I'm using a pry bar and a hammer. Let me show you how to do it. Just put the pry bar right in between the sidewalk and the form and give it a couple of taps with a hammer to loosen it, and then just work the form just like this till you can get underneath it, and then it comes right up like that. And now I'm just going to do this all the way around, and then we're finished. This was a pretty labor-intensive job, but even with the tool rental, it only cost $300. And now we have a great new pathway in the backyard.